Dan Dickau here for Gonzaga Nation. Well, there's been some movement in the NBA in regards to a blockbuster trade that will impact former Gonzaga Bulldog Drew Timme. I think it impacts him in a positive way, to be honest, not just in regards to what the current roster makeup looks now, but in the future on and off the court stuff as well. So that trade being the Damian Lillard trade from the Portland Trail Blazers to the Milwaukee Bucks, where it was a three-team deal. Lillard, obviously, as mentioned, to the Bucks. The Blazers received Drew Holiday, DeAndre Ayton, Tumani Kamara, and a couple of draft picks. And then the Phoenix Suns were involved, and they received Yusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen, Nasir Little, and Keon Johnson as part of the trade. But obviously, this being a Gonzaga-centric podcast, we want to look at the impact for Drew Timme. Well, when you look at it, it's a positive because there are more players leaving Milwaukee than the Bucks are receiving. The Bucks only receive one player, that player being Damian Lillard. So it opens up more possibilities in regards to full-time roster spots with Milwaukee. Many teams make or have the idea to do have some roster flexibility leading into training camp, which starts in the next few days, so that if a young player does open eyes, he can either be signed to a two-way contract, which Drew Timme is currently on, or maybe even upgrade all the way to a regular contract, not just a training camp contract. So good news, I think, in regards to the fact that he wasn't included in that trade, and that he now has essentially less guys to compete against that are viewed as part of a core of what Milwaukee's looking forward going into the regular season. They would not have signed him to a two-way deal if they didn't think he was part of a decent core, whether it's the Bucks or more than likely their G League team, the Herd, to really get a good look at and give him every opportunity, to play minutes on the big team and earn his way to a regular contract. But the reason I really think this is a great trade for Drew Timme is the fact that we already knew he was going to be playing alongside, at least in training camp and in early season opportunities, with Giannis Antetokounmpo. So he was going to be around him in training camp. He was going to practice with him. He was going to see how one of the true best players in the NBA right now works on his craft day in and day out. That does nothing but help a young player in the NBA see just how dedicated, how hardworking some of these great players are. And every indication that you hear is Giannis is exactly that, because he's improved from the time he was an unknown as a draft pick till being an MVP, winning a championship, being a max level contract type of guy, cornerstone face of a franchise. So you're going to learn a lot from Giannis in those in that aspect. The other thing I think that he can learn from Giannis is in the fact that Giannis's game, speaking, is it wasn't tailor-made, ready to go for the NBA when he was drafted. He had question marks about his jump shot. He had question marks about a few other things in his game, his ball handling, maybe his IQ. I know the first two for certain were things that were questioned, but he has really worked on it. Now, he's not a knockdown three-point shooter, but he's worked at it to become serviceable from distance, and you have to honor him. But the thing is about Giannis is he plays to his strengths, and his strengths is all constantly in attack mode, attacking the defense, putting the ball on the deck, putting pressure on his man to keep him in front, putting pressure on help side, whether or not they need to fully commit and rotate. And then he's just such a good and willing teammate that he will make the right pass at the right times. And the reason I say that is because, a lot's been said about Drew Timme's potential shortcomings at the next level. Can he shoot it from distance? Will he be able to develop a corner three? Can he guard? All those kind of things. Well, the thing I think that Drew can look towards Giannis for and pick his brain, ask his advice, really get some mentorship in regards to is how do you stay the process and continue to be yourself and play your game, learn your game and the quirks and the things that can work at that next level while I'm young in my career and I'm trying to, navigate the waters of a career. So I think that's going to be a valuable one. Friend of mine, Ben Sullivan, was a coach with the Bucks for a stretch with Giannis as one of the players. And he said he's a tremendous work ethic guy. He's a tremendous teammate. He does all the right things. And so that's what you want to see a guy like have the ability to learn from, like for Drew Timme. So I think that's a great pairing. Now, in regards to the Damian Lillard pairing coming to Milwaukee for Drew Timme, it's another example where he now has an opportunity to play with one of the premier guards in the league at this time. 7-time All-Star. Had he made deeper postseason runs or been in a bigger media market, there might have been a year or two that he would have had a legit conversation starter as an MVP, but that just wasn't the case because Portland's roster never was able to pair him with enough to make deep playoff runs. I think they did make one year to the Western Conference Finals, but never able to really kind of get over the hump and really make Damian Lillard as big of a household name as maybe I think he could have been or should be at this time, because I truly think Damian Lillard's one of the best players in the league right now, and he has been for some time. But playing in Portland and not on great teams and not on a crazy amount of national TV games, he hasn't gotten the limelight that maybe some other guys like a Kyrie Irving or others have received. But the reason I think it's another great pairing for Drew Timme is because Damian Lillard's work ethic, his attention to detail, his ability to continue to get better year after year after year in the NBA. He came into the league from a mid-major school, Weber State. I believe he was the 6th pick in the NBA draft, but he came in with a lot of doubt from outsiders. But he knew who he was. He knew his own skill set. He knew what he wanted to become. He knew how hard he was going to work. He believed in himself, and the people around him believed in himself as well. And now you see 10, 11 years later, one of the best players in the league. And I think what Drew Timme can learn from that is, granted, Drew isn't coming out of college with a little fanfare like a Damian Lillard may have come out of college with, but with a lot of fanfare, being one of Gonzaga's all-time greats, being a 3-time All-American. But the reason I say that is because Drew Timme doesn't have a lot of fanfare in regards to his game at the NBA level. There's a lot of question marks out there about him. And I think that's something where, Damian Lillard and his leadership with the Bucks, his mentorship, I think can do a really good job of hopefully taking Drew Timme under his wings, sharing the ropes with him, and really helping him to learn the NBA lifestyle, the NBA game, the NBA as a whole quickly. And so this trade, Lillard to the Bucks, again, I think is a good thing when you're looking at it from a Gonzaga lens with Drew Timme. So for Gonzaga Nation, thanks for looking, watching, listening. Be on the lookout for a lot more content because the season is right around the corner.